Hello everyone, you can call me Kira or Shun. In this video, I will be discussing the impacts of fast fashion industry, specifically SHEIN, on the world we know today, alongside evaluating the brand's response to current marketing drivers of change, analyzing the brand's integrated and holistic approach to creating revenue, and finally, comparing the brand's marketing methods against other ethical and sustainable fashion brands to highlight the conflicting nature of the industry's marketing decisions. Let's jump into it. Firstly, what's fast fashion? Well, an article called Fast Fashion, Sustainability and the Ethical Appeal of Luxury Brands mentioned that the phrase fast fashion refers to low-cost clothing collections that mimics current luxury fashion trends. It involves quick turnaround of new styles, often from celebrities to runway looks into affordable, mass-produced garments that reach the stores in a quick time. The main goal of the fast fashion industry, as Kate Fletcher wrote, to make the latest trends accessible to a wide range of customers, encouraging frequent purchases and short-term clothing use. The key characteristics of the industry includes low production costs. In order to produce fast and affordable clothing, fast fashion industries often manufacture in countries with low labor costs, where workers are subjected to being paid very poorly and work in unsafe conditions. Quick turnaround times. Because designs are created and sent to stores quickly, the companies can respond to trends as fast as a few weeks. And finally, affordable prices. By using cheaper materials and mass production techniques, fast fashion makes trendy clothing accessible to a large demographic. Other attributes include trendy outfits that are made to attract particular generations, extensive reach of potential markets and good coverage on existing ones, fast delivery times, large product mix giving the customers more choice, heavy reliance on their advanced technology for mass production, research, and designing garments in a very short time, a very active online presence, and of course, a very competitive field. This may sound like a very convenient way to get trendy outfits really fast. However, things are not as peachy as they seem. Let me explain. By this point, we all know that this industry refers to the rapid production of inexpensive clothing to meet the latest trends, which may or may not result in significant environmental and social issues. Many recent studies concluded that the fast fashion industry has a huge impact on the environment. For instance, things like cheap and disposable product quality. As the industry saturates the market by promoting a disposable culture, customers tend to throw away clothes as fast as buying them. Unsurprisingly, the industry also has a high carbon footprint. The fashion industry as a whole is a major consumer of water, as the textile production contributes up to 20% of the global water waste and nearly 10% of global carbon emissions, which, as you've guessed it, produces a lot of waste. Not just that. Because of the disposable culture, the fast fashion industry generates up to 92 million tons of textile waste annually, which mostly ends up in landfills or incinerated, releasing harmful gases, which in turn causes pollution. Not to mention labor exploitation and health risk for local communities as well as workers due to the use of hazardous chemicals in the textile production. Whoa, that's one heck of a heavy start, but I do hope I covered most of what fast fashion industry is. Let's talk about our main star of this video, SHEIN. SHEIN? I'll just stick with SHEIN just for simplicity's sake. Anyways, SHEIN, as Miss Lee wrote, is an online fast fashion retailer that started in Nanjing, China, now based in Singapore. It is one of the most striking fashion companies to emerge and prosper during the COVID-19 pandemic. SHEIN is one of, if not the most successful fast fashion companies around the world and has been thriving since its first launch in the US in 2017, despite its many controversies throughout the years. If you're under the age of 50 or lives off of minimum wage and has social media, I'm sure you've heard of, or in worst cases, be a victim of one of SHEIN's ruthless marketing strategies. Speaking of marketing strategies, let's talk about how SHEIN responds to major shifting drivers in the fast fashion environment. Many of the drivers of change, which you may also be aware of, are Consumer Preference and Behavior. An article written by Jianye Liu of King's College London mentioned that Shein's main success comes from how they price their items, appealing to price-sensitive customers, particularly Gen Z or millennials, who prioritizes affordability while shopping for fashion. The brand's success also comes from its ability to quickly anticipate and produce rising fashion trends, which most customers who are seeking the latest styles are looking for. Environmental sustainability initiatives. Because more and more people are getting aware of the environmental impacts that companies like Shein has, Shein publicly pledged to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 25% across the company's value chain by 2030, with the goal of reaching net zero by 2050. Whether it is true or not, your guess is as good as mine. However, Shein did launch a resale service on its US, Europe, and the UK websites as part of its efforts to encourage efficiency and decrease textile waste, allowing buyers and sellers to buy and sell old clothing. Labor practices and ethical concerns. As I've shared before, fast fashion industries are not very popular with treating their workers fairly. It's no surprise that Shein has experienced scrutiny over labor practices, with reports showing poor working conditions and violations of labor laws. In response to that, the company has committed on strengthening labor standards throughout its supply chain, albeit particular methods and their effectiveness are still being evaluated. In Shein's newsroom, they wrote that they aim to further improve standards, making physical enhancements to its supplier factories. They've invested over $15 million to focus on those exact things as part of Shein's Supply Community Empowerment Program, or SCEP for short. The company will also double its spending on Shein Responsible Sourcing, or SRS program, increasing the frequency of independent factory audits and training. And finally, greenwashing allegations. Over the years, Shein has been facing scrutiny over multiple greenwashing allegations, misleading the customers about the environmental benefits of its product and operations. In September of 2024, Italy's antitrust watchdog, the Italian Competition Authority, or AGCM, launched an investigation on Shein sustainability claims, mainly focusing on the Evolution collection. With regards to that, Shein expressed its willingness to cooperate with Italian authorities, stating it was ready to cooperate openly with relevant Italian authorities, providing the necessary support and information to address any inquiries. As for now, the investigation is ongoing, so we can't really officially say anything about it. Let's go deeper into this iceberg, shall we? Let's analyze and appraise how the brand is adapting an integrative and holistic approach to value creation. Shein has stated numerous times about how they have been incorporating technology developments, community projects, and sustainability initiatives into its business model as an effort to create value. But is what Shein's saying actually true, or is it just lip service? Let's look into some of these claims. Number 1. Sustainability initiatives. As stated before, Shein promised that all of its value chain will cut greenhouse gas by 25% by 2030 and net zero emissions rate by 2050. To achieve these goals, the business has started programs like Clean by Design and Carbon Leadership, which focuses on measuring carbon impact and lowering the amount of energy, water, and chemicals used in textile production. Number 2. Technological advancements. Shein uses AI and data analysis to figure out upcoming fashion trends and keep track of stock. This method is reported to cut down trash and overproduction, which is in line with sustainable practices. Number 3. Community and social investments. Shein is allegedly offering a lot of money to help up-and-coming designers, its community of production suppliers, and underprivileged groups. This includes a 5-year investment of $50 million in aspiring designers and $70 million in its community and individual suppliers. And finally, number 4. Supply chain transparency and labor practices. To make sure that the labor rules are being followed, Shein allegedly increased audits of its suppliers. However, numerous reports of child labor were found at supplier facilities, and the company's corrective action, such as suspending orders and improving worker verification methods, were detailed in its 2023 sustainability reports. Despite Shein starting a lot of programs to make its business plan more sustainable, there are still some issues. The company's rapid production cycle and low-cost offerings contribute to environmental concerns associated with fast fashion. Critics say that even if companies make promises to be more environmentally friendly, the effects might not be enough. if they keep the same business model of creating disposable fashion culture. To sum everything up, SHEIN seems to be taking steps towards creating value by incorporating sustainability, technology, and community fundings into its business. But these efforts are still being closely watched to see how well they work, and especially if they're real. Why don't we take a small break from all the bad things SHEIN has done and focus on what it should have done, which leads to our last but not least point of this video. Let's compare SHEIN's marketing practices to some other business that's more ethical in its approaches. In this day and age, an ethical brand is very hard to come by. Many companies refuse its ethical ways due to various reasons, like spending more money for suitable materials and ensuring fair labor practices. These profits can be a turn-off, especially for brands that are trying to make a profit. Not to mention complexities of the supply chain, which makes it very difficult to monitor and enforce ethical standards. And one of the most damaging factors, consumer demands for low prices. To be completely honest, I was also tempted by this. I mean, who doesn't want cheap fashionable clothing? But to meet these demands, brands like SHEIN has to compromise on labor standards and environmental practices. Because of these factors, it is very hard to find a fashion brand that is completely free from controversies. However, I've narrowed it down to a pretty good company that implements ethical and sustainable tactics, is pretty well known, and also pretty well off. Uniqlo. I know, it's another fast fashion brand that has its own fair share of controversies, but hear me out. I chose another fast fashion brand to compare to SHEIN because I wanted to show how SHEIN can improve by just a few tweaks and still be a fast fashion brand. I chose another brand that is in the same boat to share how they respond differently and still be successful. Uniqlo is a clothing brand that was originally established in Yamaguchi, Japan in the year 1949. These days, it is a worldwide brand with more than 1,000 outlets. It has been reinventing clothing with an eye towards quality and fabrics, which have been unwavering from the start. The company's model centers around lifewear concepts, offering versatile, functional, and durable clothing suitable for everyday wear, with product ranges including men's, women's, and children's appeal, featuring items like heat tech, thermal clothing designs to retain body heat, aerism, lightweight, breathable fabrics suitable for warmer climates, and block tech, water-resistant outerwear. The business has initiated several sustainability efforts that includes: Number 1. The company's focused on functional and long-lasting fabrics. Uniqlo creates minimalist, high-quality essentials designed to last at least a few years, which also doubles as a functional outfit, like heat tech or aerism, unlike SHEIN, which encourages disposable fashion. Number 2. Commitment to quality. Uniqlo invests in their advanced technology and high-quality materials to create durable and versatile clothing, contrasting to SHEIN's low-cost, trendy clothing that have a very short lifespan. Number 3. Reduce, reuse, and recycle tactics. The brand has multiple programs like Re-Uniqlo programs throughout the years, which collects and recycle used clothing into new products and reducing waste. The brand also claims to use 50% recycled materials for all the polyester items by 2030 and is committed to improving water waste in its supply chain. Number 4. Ethical manufacturing. Despite rumors about Uniqlo's supply chain transparency, the company is known to work with Better Cotton Initiative, which is a non-profit group that promotes better standards in cotton farming and practices across 22 countries to ensure fair labor practices, alongside ethical farming practices. And lastly, affordability without sacrifice. Despite being affordable, Uniqlo does not compromise on the quality of its clothing. In comparison to the fast fashion retailers such as SHEIN, Uniqlo stands out as a more responsible and approachable option due to its commitment to quality, sustainability, and affordability. In conclusion, fast fashion is eating away at our planet, one clothing at a time. However, we cannot fully stop them from ever appearing because where there is demand, there will always be someone to fulfill it, with the price of course. So if we cannot stop it fully, the least we can do is support businesses that are trying to be better. Of course, to do that, research is the most important requirement. But in the world of limitless information, it would only get easier by the day. Let's work together to make the world better because we are responsible for our futures. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed your stay. All the references I used in this video will be written down in the description below, and I hope you have the best day ever. Bye!